Pastor Shay, aka Chaplain G, coming back at y'all with another word of encouragement for today. So, check this out. I was in my Bible this morning, kind of just rummaging through a little bit, and I came across this passage in the book of First Kings, and it is a story about right at the end of King David's life as he's getting ready to pass the mantle on to his son. And I was thinking about who King David was. King David was one of the greatest kings in the nation of Israel's history. And Solomon is said to be one of the wisest men that ever walked the earth. And so this interaction between these two men, I just found interesting because, like, thinking about it in today's context, how we have these great leaders that when they go and they pass on or they change leadership hands, like in the military, we have all these changes of commands and people give these speeches and stuff like that. And I'm always curious about what people are going to say as they're leaving a leadership position and they're handing a leadership position off to the next person, because really you're getting the insight of the person. Like what's the most important thing that a leader needs to know as he's getting ready to take command. And for David, the most important thing that he thought to tell his son as he's getting ready to take command of an entire nation was to walk with God. That was essentially what he told him. The most important thing about your leadership capability is that you walk well with God. And of all the mistakes David made in his life, all the lessons he learned that he could have passed on. Like he could have passed on, if you see a pretty lady bathing on a roof, don't go over there. Or he could have said, don't have her husband murdered. It just doesn't go well. There's all kind of stuff that David could have said about the lessons he learned in his life. But the most important thing that he thought to tell his son was to watch your walk with God, essentially. And so I want to read this over you because I think it still is, it's relevant today. The most important thing about our leadership capability is our walk with God. And so check this out. This is in the book of First Kings, chapter 2. I'm going to start in verse 1. So when David's time to die drew near, he commanded Solomon his son, saying, I am about to go the way of all the earth. Be strong and show yourself a man, and keep the charge of the Lord your God, walking in his ways and keeping his statutes, his commandments, his rules, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do and wherever you turn, that the Lord may establish his word that he spoke concerning me, saying, if your sons pay close attention to their way, to walk before me in faithfulness with all their heart and with all their soul, you shall not lack a man on the throne of Israel. Man, this is huge, man, because it means our morality, our spirituality, our relationship with God is the most important thing about us. It's what's at the baseline. It's what's at the root of every decision we make. And I think we can see how we have some leaders that have kind of walked away from that wisdom. They don't, even though they would profess Christ, they would profess to have this deep faith. When they go to make their decisions, it doesn't have that hint of God behind it. It has the hint of selfishness or anti-God in a lot of ways. And so this is the most important thing about us, is our faith. That's not to say that there wasn't more going on here. I'm sure David said more stuff. He also gave some commandments about all the people that stabbed him in the back. He was telling Solomon, like, yo, go get those dudes when I'm gone. But the first thing that he mentions is not only have this deep faith in God and watch your walk and make sure you're walking in a way that's worthy of God, but he also reiterates God's promise that this messianic promise that there's always going to be someone from their lineage, from King David's lineage, that's going to stay on the throne forever. And we know the ultimate fulfillment of that promise comes in Christ, who comes from the lineage of King David. And so essentially what Solomon is saying, keep reminding all the leaders that come after us that the most important thing about them, about their leadership, is how much they love God, because one day in our bloodline, God is going to come in the flesh. And so it's this cool connection, and the promise still rings true for us today, man. As we make leadership decisions, as we come in and we lead people, whether it's in the military or it's in the civilian sector, as we lead them, what we're leading them to ultimately is the second coming of Christ. And so we're going to have one of two choices. Either they're going to bow in submission when Christ comes as a conquered people, or they're going to bow with love and say, finally, you've come back, and all glory and honor belong to you. One day, every knee is going to bow. And so the reminder to keep God at the forefront of our leadership still holds true for us today, and it's huge. So that was my theological nerd nugget for the day. It's also a word of encouragement, man. If you are a person of faith and you know who Jesus is, make sure that you're walking in a way where Christ shines in your life and in your leadership decisions. Because if not, you ruin your testimony to this world. So that's my encouragement for you. Hope you receive it well. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All that jazz. It's free to y'all, but it means a lot over here. And yeah, hit me up if you need anything. My email's going to be down in the description. I love y'all, man. I hope y'all doing good. Until next time, grace and peace.